What kind of brand is Shell for consumers and business customers? Why does Shell have this image? What should we do differently in the future? This short film will show you how the new brand vision and branding idea created by J. Walter Thompson for Shell will help transform our brand, how Shell will act, and how the brand will communicate. In 1997, Shell began its transformation process in Europe. Shell created Shell Europe Oil Products, SEOP for short, to help create synergies to act like a region rather than 29 local operating companies. Shell invited J. Walter Thompson to advise them on how to develop the brand and communications. Working closely with Shell's own brand professionals around Europe, the JWT team immersed themselves in Shell culture and businesses. Here is what we concluded. We found that the Shell brand had some great strengths, that it was a leader in many parts of the world and topped preference charts in dozens of markets. However, there were also some severe shortcomings. These shortcomings are organizational. The brand has been locally run to the detriment of the businesses and common sense. They misuse sub-brands, elevating them over the Shell brand. The brand does little to differentiate itself from competitors. The brand is inconsistent and self-focused. J. Walter Thompson has put forward these 10 suggestions to Shell, which have been accepted. All activity for Shell must help create preference for the Shell brand and its businesses. Though Shell markets many products all over the world, Shell has only one clear brand, established with consumers worldwide, the Shell brand. The key to the transformation is to unlock the power of the Shell brand for the consumer. We know from research that the Shell brand is valued and is valuable. Shell leads the world in consumer preference for service stations. The brand is worth an estimated $5.5 billion in incremental forecourt sales every year. About 1 out of every $3 earned comes from the brand at retail level. Shell is one brand, not 29 local brands with a myriad of sub-brands. The Shell core brand should leverage the sub-brands, not the other way around, as some markets have done in the recent past. Having sub-brands strengthens Shell if used properly with motivating value propositions to consumers. Communication should come from the brand, not the sub-brand. Shell must speak with one voice to all its publics in the same way, targeting different messages to appropriate audiences. A brand has one personality. If not, it becomes schizophrenic. Shell should look for the synergies that unite markets, while exploiting the differences which separate markets. Local operating companies need to work together to pool their strengths and overcome their weaknesses. This doesn't mean differences between local markets aren't important. These differences need to be exploited more efficiently within the context of the Shell brand. Shell communication should be planned against consistent brand-led objectives. Shell plans change too much from year to year. There is a tactical pattern to brand expenditure that relies too much on what's new and what is a good promotion. We've got to work from the idea that promotions can support a core customer proposition, but not replace it. Once we have established the core proposition behind an offering, promotions can add life to that proposition. For example, if Shell Select makes more time for you on the move is established, one way to keep the idea alive is to do a pizza promotion or a top 10 CD promotion. Business tactics and promotions should serve brand strategy, but not drive it. Shell should use all aspects of the brand, not just its retail face, to transform perceptions of the brand. The consumer doesn't judge Shell only from his day-to-day contact with the brand, but how the brand conducts itself in all its businesses. When we lost sales in Germany, it was because of Brent Spa, not a sudden problem with our retail offering. Global brand tracking shows that consumers, quote, choose brands they feel most comfortable with, unquote. The reputation and brand sides of Shell are closely intertwined, and both can shape the brand's image. Shell needs to invest in the brand as a valuable business asset. If the brand is worth billions in consumer sales, it must be nurtured and sustained, not worn down and eroded. In the past, Shell has viewed the brand support as a cost without much tangible business benefit. We need to prove its value as an investment in the business with tangible business results. How the brand acts and how it communicates is a vital part of transforming the brand. Shell will be judged by its deeds more than its words. It needs to develop a closer relationship to consumers, and this will involve communication at a higher level. To create brand preference, we need to change consumer perceptions and relationships with the brand through what the brand does and how it communicates. Shell needs to act and communicate consistently and not change from year to year. In the past, Shell has changed its marketing from year to year within each market, not forging any consistent bond with consumers. Spending behind the core businesses, fuels, lubricants, Select, Smart, and the forecourt consistently will help transform the brand. If Shell is to gain consumer and customer preference, it should put differentiation at the heart of the Shell brand. One of the core problems Shell faces is the lack of consumer differentiation between oil company brands. Commoditization is the enemy of preference. We need to change what people think about Shell and what we do, how they feel about their relationship with the brand, and what underlies this relationship. At the deepest level, consumers have an ambivalent relationship with Shell. We are admired and respected for our size, our capabilities, and leadership. Yet that very size can create a feeling that Shell is remote, distant, and uncaring, and sometimes acts against the environment. At the level of gut feel, some consumers think that Shell cares only for itself. So we need to do more for the consumer, draw them closer to us, and create a new set of values. Which brings us to the last message, second in importance only to the primacy of the brand. Ultimately, Shell should transform itself from an oil products-based brand to a consumer values-based brand. These values should reflect the new vision of the company, one which serves as a transformation tool for the businesses and a template for brand communications. We need to transform from being self-focused, slow to act, obsessed with technical innovation, distant from people, and powerful for itself, to a brand that is customer-focused in its offering, dynamic, innovative for consumers, friendly and accessible, different from competitors, and powerful for its loyal customers. A brand which acts responsibly in its role as a global citizen, consistent with the core purpose of helping people build a better world. So our new brand vision for Shell. What Shell people want Shell to be, and what will delight consumers. Caring for the consumer, confronting the perceived self-focus head-on, innovating to meet consumer needs with all the power and vision the Shell brand can muster, confronting commoditization, with Shell businesses striving to create relevant, consumer-driven differences through its value propositions. Will help create the response from the consumer that the Shell brand acts differently from competitors, relates to them differently, becoming accessible and friendly. Importantly, that Shell shares their values, hopes, and aspirations for their lives. Caring innovators. Shell people have embraced this new vision and have integrated it into the company in all aspects, not only as a communication and business transformation tool, but as a human resources tool, a guide for business practices, and a way of checking whether a policy or program is right for Shell. Caring innovators is how Shell should see itself, but should never say this to consumers. We must remember that there is a difference between stimulus and response. If you want to be thought funny, don't tell people you're funny, tell a funny story. I'm J. Walter Thompson, has developed a new way of communicating this vision with an outstanding creative stimulus. This branding idea will give Shell's caring innovators life and will be the centerpiece of all communications for the brand.
When it comes to the quality of the air we breathe, just how far should a petrol company go? Unleaded petrol to clean the exhaust? Detergent petrol to clean the engine? But we thought, why stop there? We've gone one step further and cleaned the petrol itself. Shell Pura is unique, refined until it is ultra pure and ultra clean burning. We all want purer air, so why not start with Pura Petrol?